From all of us at Roxborough Park, we wanted to say a huge thank you for the invitation to join all of you today and for your extreme generosity in providing the camp experience for our kids at Roxborough Park. I think it's quite obvious from the video that this was a life-changing and inspiring event for our students. One of the key issues that we see arise time and again with our kids is trust and acceptance. Many of our children come from broken homes with broken promises. Some of our students come from terrible environments and are forced to grow up much faster than your average child. We have children who are 9 and 10 years old raising their younger siblings. They make sure they have a lunch for school, even if it means sometimes they go without. They make sure everyone is dressed and ready for school and looking clean, even if it's only a surface clean. These children watch and grow up seeing that some adults can and do make very bad decisions. They have very few role models that teach positive life lessons. Many of our students believe that new situations and circumstances do not bring about happiness or peace because their lives change so drastically and frequently, almost never resulting in a brighter smile. They have sleepless nights, often empty bellies, and very few pleasant conversations. As a result of this background, our children don't trust many new people or situations. We see this all the time at our school when someone new arrives, whether it be a student or a staff member. Our children band together until they can figure out this new person. When we begin a new unit in school or a new lesson, they automatically assume they won't be able to do it because they have already failed so many things or watched others fail so many times. They often don't react positively to change. So I think we were a little bit nervous to take them to Tim Horton's camp. Of course we knew they would have fun, but we weren't sure how they would react to being away from a familiar setting for 3 days. To us, 3 days is nothing. It was a nice break from a monotonous school day. But 3 days for a child who thrives on whatever consistency they can get, usually in the form of a school day, this quite possibly could have been a disaster, and we weren't sure what to expect. We knew that they were going to be challenged to do new things and try new skills, but we weren't sure how they were going to react to that. One of the tricky parts of our job at Roxborough Park is foreseeing problems and knowing what triggers might bring about certain behaviors, and for some students you just never know. You can see from the video that they willingly rose to the occasion. From the moment we arrived, our children were engaged, interested, and well cared for. Having 3 meals a day with snacks in between and the ability to sleep through the night, even though some thought jumping on the bunks was more fun, was a first for some of our kids. It was wonderful to see how different they were when all of their basic needs were being met. They were challenged and inspired. They learned that new things didn't necessarily bring about a life-shattering outcome, but instead an opportunity to find something that they loved and a skill they wouldn't have had otherwise. Since being at Tim Horton's camp, it's easy to notice the changes in our students. They are certainly more caring for each other. Before camp, our students were extremely cliquey. They found a small group of peers that they found to be trustworthy and stuck with them. At Tim Horton's camp, we were able to split up some of these known groups, and this allowed them to converse and play with students they weren't familiar with before. This has opened up some of the social divisions that once plagued our student population. Students are more willing to advocate for each other and help each other problem solve in more positive ways. They often sing the songs they learned at camp, which are more child-friendly and appropriate, whereas before we had to listen to them mock hip-hop tunes they clearly had no business listening to. New situations and people have become less scary to our kids. They will learn about someone or something new and give them a more fair shot, whereas before they jumped to conclusions. Usually the conclusion was new equals bad. That is not the case today. Our students approach learning much more positively. Even if you try at something once and you don't get it right away, that's okay. There is always a second chance at learning. At Tim Horton's camp, it gave our students multiple opportunities to become leaders and work in team settings to achieve a desired goal. This is something we have always wanted to teach at our school. Unfortunately, the confines of our curriculum and our school day really limit how much leadership experience we can offer our children. We found that at Tim Horton's camp this was naturally acquired through group activities and challenges. This has translated back to our environment at home. At school we have tried to keep this standard that we are all responsible for each other and our own actions, just like when we were at Tim Horton's camp. You can choose either to embrace a new situation and possibly take something away from the experience, or you can fear and doubt everything and never experience anything. Being at Tim Horton's camp has undoubtedly changed our rough and tough group of children. They are on their way to becoming more courageous, thoughtful, and responsible adults. Through the use of the Great Beads program, our children know that becoming great is about striking a balance between the choices we make for ourselves and the ones that we make for our community. Most of the campers still wear their Great Beads bracelets and reflect on the lessons that they were able to learn here and bring back to their lives. Thank you again so much for everything that you have offered to our students and for the overwhelming positive memories they will have for years to come. Thank you.